Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome once again to Adventures of the Broke and Retired. I'm Don. I'll be your host today. Me and my friend Elmer will be your host today. The spiel, first of all, thank you very much for being here. If you like what you see, please subscribe, share, hit the like button, and don't forget to hit the notifications bell so that you're made aware when new videos come out. Because you may want to watch them. You might enjoy seeing them. I've been sitting here this morning. Actually, been sitting here this morning for about 2.5 hours going through comments that came in over the last, since about 10 o'clock last night, I guess. 8 o'clock last night, something like that. There was a lot of them, and man, you people are nice to me. I'm not going to lie to you. Y'all are so kind to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you sending in the comments. Your kind words are fantastic. Your subscriptions are fantastic. Some of the suggestions you've made have been fantastic. One of which is Elmer. This was last night. I was going through the comments last night. I answer everyone that I can. I was going through the comments last night, and the viewer said, "Hey man, you're showing that remote a lot. You ought to name it." Well, naming the remote had never, little play on words, had not even remotely entered my mind. But you know what? I think that was a cool idea. So you know what? This is Elmer, named after Elmer Fudd, if I can use his name on here, because he tries real hard, but he doesn't seem to get it right most of the time. So that's how it is. It's been this wonderful ride for me so far. It's been a couple of weeks, and it's been a wonderful ride for me so far. This morning I was going to sit here and tell a tale. You know, again, my head is like that scene from The Exorcist where everything is just flying around the room. Inside my head, there's all this stuff just flying around, and every once in a while, something sticks to the wall, and that's where I'll go for the time being. So I'm going to tell you a story real quick. I think it was around 2000. It was around 2007, 2008. I found myself in a position where I was a single guy, but I had very, very few possessions and a lot of debt. And possessions and debt don't really scare me. Sometimes debt's a pain, but it wasn't a pain getting in the debt. So anyway, what I decided to do, I moved in with my daughter, which worked out well, very well. I moved in with my daughter, stayed with her for a while, and I had a job during the day. I was a motorcycle mechanic during the day. And at night, what I did was I took all my, I was a bass player for a long time, by the way, about 30 years. I was never any good at it, okay? What made people like me or choose me to be their bass player was, first of all, I wasn't real good at playing, but I had great recovery skills. When I got lost, I could get found again pretty quick, which is important. And what's even more important than that is I would be there when I was supposed to be there. If they said be at a certain place at 7 o'clock, I was at a certain place at 7 o'clock. My equipment worked. I was ready to go. I didn't drink a whole lot while I was playing. So I was sober, which is a lot of the reason sometimes I was asked to play, because ever who they had couldn't stay sober long enough to play. I had some business cards made up, which I've showed in another video. The treasure video shows the business cards I had made up. And I was just a hired gun. I would go places and say, hey, if you ever need a bass player, give me a call, give the business card. They would. I ended up playing 6 nights a week. And then Sundays, I usually played as well, either with some other people. Usually Sundays would be a day gig. You play at some place down by the river. They do that, start about 3 o'clock in the afternoon or noon sometimes. Doesn't matter. But anyhow, working all day and playing music all night took its toll on me. I wasn't sleeping very much. I didn't realize it, but I wasn't eating very much either. I lost a bunch of weight, which was really cool because now I've regained it all and plenty more. Now, when I got into my early 60s, my body just fell apart. But either way, so I'm working all day and playing all night, and it started to take its toll. It started to make me go. I'm sleeping about 25 hours a week. Um, yeah, 25 hours a week. And it got to me. And I started having these kind of weird, kind of like nervous breakdown episodes. 3 or 4 times I kind of fell apart, but I kept on doing it because I had this debt that had to be paid. And I wanted, now that I was a single guy again, I wanted to take a motorcycle ride. I wanted to take the trip of a lifetime. And the best way to do that was to work my butt off, pay off all my debt, save some money, and then schedule off of work, don't play anymore, and take a couple weeks out on the bike. So that's exactly what I did. I worked real hard. I paid off the debt. I saved one of my. I paid off all the credit cards and got rid of them, except for one. One of them I kept, and I put a bunch of money on it, so it had a positive balance. And I put a little bit of cash in my pocket because you got to have cash as well. And I did commence to jumping on the motorcycle and taking off. What I did was I pulled out of Baton Rouge, crossing over the river in Baton Rouge at about, I don't know, probably 5 o'clock in the morning, headed west. And my plan was simply, my brother was living in San Antonio at the time, so my plan was to go to his house, and then from there, go west until I hit water, come back. My sister, younger sister, was living in Colorado at the time. Figured it'd be a good time to stop over there to see her. So I figured I'd go west until I hit water, go east, stop in Steamboat Springs, then come back to Baton Rouge. And that really proved to be a really, really good. First of all, I had worked myself to the point where I didn't want a vacation. It wasn't that I wanted it. It was that I needed it. And it was hard worked for. It was well worked for. And I was ready to go. I had every minute that I could stay awake that I wasn't working or playing. I would bring the bike in the shop and put it up on the lift, and I would just stand there looking at it. It was a 2000 model Yamaha Royal Star, which is based on the VMAX. It had, I think it had about 90,000 miles on it, but it was rock solid, dependable. That was a great motorcycle. And I packed up a bunch of stuff. I had a bag. I think I borrowed a bag from somebody, and took off on the bike. Anyhow, I took off on the bike. I headed west, went to San Antonio, stayed in San Antonio for probably a day or two. When I pulled out of my brother's house, I went down to the Alamo. Have you ever been to the Alamo? Going to the Alamo is this is going to end up running into two parts, I can see. Going to the Alamo is actually really, really, it's kind of surprising. It's really cool because it's wonderful. The history is fantastic. But it's really surprising. You never know. I mean, if you go to the Alamo, what are you expecting? I'll tell you what I was expecting. I'm not sure what you would expect. I'll tell you what I was expecting. I was expecting I'd be out in the middle of nowhere, dust clouds and tumbleweeds and guys on horses, and there would be the Alamo standing there on its own. No, it's not. The Alamo's in downtown San Antonio. The Alamo is right in the middle of town. Parking is horrendous. Horrendous with a capital, horrendous. Parking is very difficult. But it's a really, really cool place. Really, really cool place to go. Anyhow, I went there. Getting out of there, back onto the interstate, piece of cake. They got signs posted everywhere how to get back to I-10. Excuse me for just a minute. Gotta love that pause button when you got a little scratch there. My throat gets dry when I talk too much. And I'm good at talking too much. Anyhow, I took off out of San Antonio, went west, um, and I didn't really have a route planned. I mean, literally, my plan was go west until I hit water. Um, reading the map on a motorcycle, because I did at the time there was no map on a phone, which I probably wouldn't have used anyway. At the time, reading the map on a motorcycle was pretty hard to do. You had to pre-plan where you were going, and then either remember it, or what I did was I had these little pieces of paper, and I had a clear pocket on the top of the tank bag, and I would just put the highway numbers in right or left or east or west or whatever. And I had a list of highway or exit numbers, and I would just kind of follow that along. But I ended up going through Texas into New Mexico, went up through Roswell, went across to, there's a town in Arizona, Holbrook, Arizona. That's a really cool place. I got to break this right here. Sit tight. Let me get Elmer. Come on, Elmer.